Alrighty, good morning. It's January 24th. We're going to be doing part one of the trend trading today. Um, I kept saying I was going to release this, and I just wasn't happy with it because I felt like I was jumping the gun a lot on the hell I do. So, we're going to take it slow and we're going to learn it step by step. We'll give it a few minutes. Let's start off like we normally do, though. Let's take a look at news for this week. It's extremely slow. Surprisingly, Asia has looked much better than the U.S. session this week so far. It's only been, well, Sunday, Monday. If you noticed, Brexit, they said that, Parliament has to vote on it now for them to get out. So instead of us getting a definitive answer of when that's going to be settled, now we just have another freaking vote to wait on. So booing that. Let's see what else. 18:30 tonight. You got AUD news. You can demo that on the news, but I would probably not mess with it too much. Abe, you're on. I'll help you out as soon as I'm done with this. Shit, I forgot about you. Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. Abe, I apologize. I was in a rush to go live. I've had a lot of shit on my mind. I think my battery in one of my cars is going dead, so I'm, like, stressed out. Anyway, news this week is extremely light. Wednesday, German IFO, you can trade it, but meh. AUD holiday tomorrow for banks, so there will be no well, I wouldn't trade Asia tomorrow until sorry, I'm distracted today. So if you look up here, I know it's tiny, but Sydney not tomorrow, so you'd want to wait till Tokyo and Hong Kong both kick in completely. NZD news, I would stay away from it. You could demo it to watch how big the spread gets. Crude oil inventories, as we know, U.S. CAD spread's been pretty high, so I would probably say demo, not live trade it. The U.S. CAD spread seems to have been slowly growing, if I understand, on Pepperstone also. But it's gotten to the point where we're not seeing any big moves, and it not profitable. We really need GBP back. Once GBP comes back, then that'll make things a lot better, because then we have a third pair to work with. But right now, with Brexit going on, we don't have GBP for news, and it's killing it, because there's a lot of reports that are GBP based. So hopefully Brexit gets settled soon. See, again, more GBP news. Unemployment claims. Again, how I judge whether I think it's doable or not, and a little bit about reading about it, yes, but 237, 247, 249, 234. We can see there's always a movement, so there's a chance that it might pop for us. I haven't heard any extravagant news yet about it, so I'm thinking that it might be kind of a dud, but again, the rest of it, like I said, nothing. China holiday on Thursday. What is the holiday? Spring Festival. And Friday. Let's get into that, and then we'll take a look at everything else. Friday, core durable goods and advanced GDP. That's a straddle, and we'll see how it goes. Other than that, like I said, this is going to be a slow week. Trump's been babbling his mouth. He pulled U.S. out of TPP yesterday, I think, which I thought would move the markets more than it did, but again, we're just kind of holding flat during the U.S. session. Yesterday I got one trade in because it was completely freaking flat run for most of the day. Okay, so we're gonna start up on Forex. We're gonna back it out of Rinko. We're gonna go to a 5-minute chart, which will slow things down a little bit. If we need to jump to a 1 minute, we will. But I'm gonna try and hold it at a 5-minute chart. and to explain everything. I'm going back to the point where I originally learned, and now as you see, I draw boxes and things, and I don't have all this crap on the chart. But one of the comments I got was that people were having difficulty spotting some of the support. When I say look to the left, they were having difficulty spotting support and resist, trend lines, things like that. So I figured I'd throw on the indicators that I used to use as I was learning it. And I don't like the charts like this because they look cluttered to me. And I prefer to draw it because, especially since these don't always draw perfectly, like, yeah, this is a high here, but what I'm really looking at is right here where price got rejected. We had all these little here and a downside. And then price hit it and was rejected, which I'm waiting for a pullback down to around this area and then a move up. We'll see if that happens. But I'm trying to think where to start with this. Okay, so again, most of the crap on here, these are publicly available indicators, and you can get them. I'm gonna give them to you, but I mean, this is just how I learned. Okay. Let's see. Show pips. We want that probably. I'm gonna clean up the charts a little bit. What else do we'll take off this. We're gonna start off with the chart, the top chart, basically the heart of the system. And we could ignore what's on the bottom for now. And I'll explain kind of, I guess, how I learned and how it progressed from there. Object list. Let me read that message real quick. Hold on, let me look. Waiting for first tick. Abe, are you in live chat by any chance? I already know what the issue is. Here, let me see if I have it handy. Do I have it handy? Sorry, I'm fixing someone. There you go. Okay, sorry, I had a problem with, not a problem. One person was they're all set up, but the DLL issue on the signals. Okay, so we started off with moving averages. This is how I learned. Originally, when I started trading, I was big on the 4 hour because I had a full-time job. I was working for a doctor. Long story short. But, so I didn't have time to trade. So I was 4 hour charts. But I liked moving averages. Moving averages and Fibos were kind of my background, so I liked moving averages with Fibonacci. I slowly became a fan of Ichimoku, but on the lower time frames I find it very ineffective and not very useful. So basically, does anyone not know what a moving average is? If so, speak up. Or let's put it this way, can we get a response if you know what a moving average is? And then I'm using a modified moving average. It's not exactly the same as it. I like it smoothed a little bit. Let's see if I can find where I got this one from. Don't worry, you're going to get all the files, so don't worry about it. God, I don't even know if this one will be up anymore. Some of these indicators are super old. Yeah, I don't know. The page that I originally got this from is not even there anymore. Okay, so this is basically a smoothed moving average. It comes out to about the equivalent of a 50 and a 10, but it's a little bit faster responding. And so basically our goal, first step, is if we're going to take a trade, we want the fast to cross over the slow. And then we can jump in a trade. So that's how everything started off, kinda. And then I had Fibonacci's on it, so I would wait for a 100 break, which you'll see me actually do it. Let's see if we can draw, just for the hell of it, we'll make a, let's see, here's a high and a low. We'll do it, but just so you can see, this is basically my principles of how I trade. Crosses up, here's a 100 break, and then we can get in moving it up if everything else is confirmed. Okay? But let's get back to the moving average. So the problem with moving averages, though, is sometimes it'll peak up like this, and it drops right back down. So moving averages by themselves without price action are kind of useless. Sorry. The key to trading is going to be to know when we're in a trend. If we are flat, this is going to fail every damn time. That's when if you're trading bins, then trade bins. and since you're not on a higher time frame, bouncing inside the range and range trading, I was a complete fail at range trading because I would get in on something like this too late and I wouldn't make enough pips. So trend trading, basically you're looking for the upwards trend and ride it up. So there's a few things that we can do to make sure that we don't hop in, like this trade right here, for instance, and then get burnt. So let's take a look. Let me turn off the auto scroll. Actually, we can look at the trade that I passed on right here. Okay, so here it came up. We did have an okay entry here. If we look back, what are we looking for? And then I'm going to start showing you the training wheels that I give you, the tools that I use to cheat with. So the first thing we would need to be aware of, but I want you to understand why you're going to have them on your chart. And sorry if I'm skipping around a little bit, but so far basically all we've covered is moving average. It tells us the direction and if we want to take a buy or a sell. So since this is above, we're looking for buys only. But we want to make sure we get in a buy that doesn't get rejected and drop back down. So the first thing we want to take a look at is support and resistance. Again, I'm going to explain it and then we'll add the training wheel on so that you can see why it's there. So the first thing, support and resistance. So if we go to a line chart, I can just simply, we'll have to make those a little easier to see. I'm not going to go overboard on it though. Now what did I draw this here for? Well, we have a valley, a valley, a valley, then we have a couple peaks that line up. These almost line up, so it's a good median support and resistance line because it's both a support and a resistance as price moves through it. When price is above it, it's a support, and when price is below it, it's a resistance. So what else would we need to draw in here? Well, we have over here more peaks and valleys lining up. 1, 2, 3. Even over here, this one dipped in a little, but then we have another peak. These are kind of close and close. And let's draw here. And let's draw one. Now all I'm doing is moving this until I can line up a few of them. Let's draw the upper right there. That was the high. Okay. Now, sorry. Let's go back to the line chart. One of the things we could see here, this is our danger zone. How the price is moving in and out, and the moving average really never moves away. I'm sorry, my throat is really dry. This weather's just been kicking the shit out of me with the changes. So we get here, and now let's add in my little squares I like to draw. So this is the area that I was watching right here. Price moved up and broke through it. So what are we waiting on is a retrace down. And that's not very big. Let's make it a different color too. And let's make it a little bigger. So we know we're in upwards trend. So we're in upwards trend. We already had an opportunity to jump in right here. Basically, when this came up, it came back down, and then we could have jumped in. Now, if we're taking it on the close, that's just a touch without a confirmation. You could jump in on it. It's a little bit riskier, especially when we have a short-term downwards and this is just starting to move upwards. I'll get on a little bit on how you could have decided on that, because UJ was doing the exact opposite, so it looks like we're getting a change of trend. But what we're doing is we're looking for the price to drop like it is now, and then we want to see it start moving back up, and once it breaks above here and closes, we can jump in on a trade. That's simply put is what we're looking for. So now I know you're like, well, fuck, you drew support and resist all over the place, you drew these boxes, you want to look to the left, blah blah blah. That's where I'm going to throw out the trading wheels for you. Sorry, I am trying to do this without yawning. Give me a sec. Okay, so let's remove this since we explained what the hell we're doing here with this. So we're waiting for it to drop down and then move back above. Now what I wait for is I'd want it to be above my fast moving average and above this line, a close. It's important to do closes. Why? Let's see if we can find an ugly wick and see. Just gonna look for one and see. Do I have auto scroll off? Yes. I'm gonna see if I can find an ugly candle that would have burnt us. Now that I want one, I probably won't be able to find one. This will be a good one. So right here, this candle with a big one. We're just gonna pretend this is a good example. Let's say this was the new high. I'll draw a line on here. So this was the new high, right? I'm sorry, it's up higher. I can't even draw lines today. So I'm going to draw here. We're looking at these two candles, and over here we'll say this was the new high. So this candle goes way up above it, and you jump in while it's above it, and you don't wait for the close, and then it slams back down. You thought you had a break, and it was heading north. It slams back down, and then it drops away. That's why we want to wait on the close of the candle. Basically, the close of the candle gives you the entire story of what's going on with the candle. And that's really important because it could hit, like right here, it could hit this bottom, and if it pushes through during the close, then we know it's probably going to head down. But if it hits it and then bounces up, we know there was a lot of orders there and it responded well. That's how you need to get the whole story of the candle before you jump in the trade. That's also for bins why I say you want to wait till the candle's almost closed to the last 10 to 30 seconds before you jump in. And if you can delay it more, go for it. As long as it, like, if you're doing a buy here, that tiny little wick, as long as it's a tiny little wick. Okay, so we're going to wait. You'd want to wait until the candle closes. Now, if we're looking at this right now, we don't have a setup because it dropped down. We don't know where it's going. It could be heading down. It could be heading up. We don't know yet, so there's really no option on it. Let me do objects, and so now that you've seen what I'm looking at and how I draw it and everything, we'll put the training wheels on for you, and we'll explain those. So, template, and I think this is it. That is not it, but here, let's see. Template. Let's try this one. We don't want that indicator on there. It's annoying. Delete. Okay, so the first one, and this is a really old indicator. It's one of the first ones I used to help me identify support and resistance. It's called SuperDem. It's been around God knows how long. I mean, just forever. I have two different versions of it. This one just shows you the numbers and values, and the other one tells you how many times it's hit. So again, I'm going to give you a complete pack of indicators, and you can go through it, pick what you want, and set it up to help you learn. If you don't need it on there, take the damn thing off. And not to confuse, let's get rid of this. Okay, so the first step, drawing support and resist. We can see over here what it's showing us is this was a swing high, and it draws it out for us. It's showing here that we are getting a resistance up here. Again, for me, what I was looking at, though, and this is why I say it's important to learn it yourself, I was more concerned with this area right here because we had a close above. Now we have the pullback or a drop. We don't know yet. I'm going to have to take a break in a minute just to go blow my nose. Okay, so basically we're waiting on the pullback, if it occurs. If not, then we have it dropping back down. Remember, it has been trending down for the past quite a while. So it might just be a huge pullback like this one was, and then we might get the drop again. So we don't want to jump the gun on this. We want price to tell us where it's going by either breaking down or by breaking up. Now, so what are the, let's go over the lines again here real quick. Let me get this blue line out of here. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. This just basically draws swing highs, swing lows, support, resist for you. It's not super fancy, but it kind of does the job. You can see down here's a support, down here's a support, and it has a big one here. Now we'll go into the settings on it because I don't like the big blue boxes. And it already is use narrow bands. Shit. You can change color, whatever you want here, but eh. Okay, so I'm going to remove it. We're going to show you the other one. Now, there's another one that's there, and I'll be including this in the pack too. Again, this is just basically to kind of help y'all learn. Let me see if I can find it. It's in the S's. There it is. This is just called supply and demand. It's going to look very similar, but it's going to label things for you. So this one might be more useful. I just find this one draws, again, this looks like it clutters up the chart for me. But if it helps you learn, great. If we look, verified resistance, untested support, verified support, and it's been tested one time, verified support, and it's been tested 2 times. Now if we look back here, 1 time, so here it was the first time, and this is our first time it was tested. So it's telling you how many times that it's been tested. And these are just to help you draw support and resist. Now again, this is not going to do it all for you, because if we look through here, again, I was more concerned with this close above here than I was with anything else. It did give me a hint that, yeah, it closed and it's going to bounce. Even though it went up, it gave me a hint that, hey, it might bounce right there because we have an untested resistance. Plus the daily opens there. So, I mean, the dotted line is the daily open. I am definitely going to have to go blow my nose, or else I'm going to start sniffling on this thing. So I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to take a quick 3-4 minute break, go blow my nose, and if there's questions, let's get them out there, and then we'll move on to the next little training wheel I'm going to give you. Since we're lacking some of these support and resistant areas, we're going to throw the next little training wheel on there that's going to help you see them, just in case you can't. Personally, I say if you go here, you should be able to see it, but if not, let's put the next step on there. So if there's questions, let's go ahead and get them out there. Abe, you're not in here. I think you're at work, but you're talking to me. I'll check in with you in a second. But go ahead. If there's questions, let me know of so far what we've gone over. We've only covered the top portion of the chart so far. And we'll get to the rest once I get back. I'll be right back then. Alright, I feel a little better. The winds are picking up. I was watching the weather real quick. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on. So as we knew, we had a support here. We broke it, came down, and it pushed up. Here is our fast moving MA. It closed above it. Now, if we wanted to be risky, we could actually jump in here and take it. Personally, if we look to the left, we want to close above. Okay, so I forgot where I was. Sorry. Okay, so I'm trying to decide how to do this best because I need to talk about Fibonacci also. I think what I'm going to do is this video, then I'm going to do a prerequisite video of like Fibonacci also, because Fibonacci does play an important part of it. Reason being is the ratios, so we know it kind of gives you a hint on which way price is going to be moving. So I'll probably do a Fibonacci video also, and it'll be a prerequisite because you really need to understand Fibonacci. So we have a close above the previous swing. See our support right here? So this did close. Well, we got a minute 46 left on it. We'll see what it does. If it closes higher, we'll go ahead and jump in because there's a chance it might push up then. So we got a minute 17 left. This is the candle timer. It's also up here, but it's too damn small for me to see. Our spread's 1.2, so we're good. Now, while we're waiting, candle size is slow. I still use the M1 averages. We're right at about 2 pips a candle, so this would be an extremely slow trade to get into. If we look, Euro is stronger. This is Euro USD. The blue line's above, so Euro is stronger. These green and red, they're actually Bollinger Bands. So I'm trying to explain everything in this system. Now, again, as we're watching this, we could get in on this one. It'll be a little bit risky. We have a verified resistance with one retest. So it's going to have to push through there. And if we look to the left, remember, there it is. It did identify that for us. And we already identified for ourselves this candle was a possible breakout candle. I'm going to go ahead and take a buy so we can watch. Okay. This is also will cover for Robin, but I can't explain that when we get into Rinko. If this thing drops back down to here, then that's when I would jump out. I'm not using it. This is a 10 pip stop loss. It's a hard stop loss, but if I see the trade not going my way, I close it early, which I'll be doing. That UJ trade that I took last week when it went 10, that was, like I said, it just moved too fast for me to react to. So what we're waiting on here is we got the close above, and this would have been a late entry, but this would be a little bit risky because it does have to clear this retest. It might hit it and then drop down, which will create a double top, which means this thing's going to plow down. So if this says retest 2, then we'd look for price to drop. Or consolidate, we don't know really. But the reason I would want to wait for it to close above here, because then it takes a little bit of the risk out of it, and it also gives us up to about here, which is about 14 pips of room for it to move. As you can see, we did it here. Let's see what happens. This might work out for us. It might not, but I'm not as sure because I didn't wait for it to close above here. And let's zoom in a little bit so we can see this. Okay, so what I'm talking about is where the green line is, actually right where the buy line is. This green dashed line is where we'd go into profit. Is we'd want the candle to close above it. Now, we actually don't have 14 pips. We have about 8.1 pips because there's the daily open. But again, down on the bottom, we were looking good. Here, let me do something so I can see if we can make this a little easier for y'all to see. And we'll talk about some of the riskies in this one. Okay. Okay, so I made this white. Yeah, the green still doesn't show up that good, but oh well. So what we can see is it looks like it is getting rejected here. Now it might piddle along and move back up. The good thing is our swing low, which is right here. I'll mark it with an arrow. Our previous swing low is above our stop loss. So that's good. What that tells me is I do have room to get into this trade and for it to move around. But, here, let me draw it out. Draw a trend line. That's our previous swing low right there. So if price came near that, I would probably jump out. We can see that it's closing in and out of the fast, but this one's not looking so sexy. This is why it's important to wait on it to close higher of the previous. Again, I mean, this still might work out, but then again, it might not. But by waiting for it to close above that, I'm taking out a little bit of the risk. And it's about 20 minutes to the bell, actually. We can see pip size grew a little bit. We're slightly over 2. So if I was trading this live, this just now would have came into, yes, it's tradable. Rinko time is not on here because we're not using Rinko bars right now. But this candle, look, it's almost dropped back down to this. So it's not looking like a very sexy trade right now. Now, Euro USD, so let's take a look at one other thing. What's UJ doing? UJ's flat as hell. It is moving up, though, so it's moving opposite. Again, almost the same damn thing going on. What do we have? A support zone right here. And you can see the next tool I'm going to show you that helps cheat is these lines, because you can see the lines helping you draw the support. Okay, so let's go back to Euro. So if we flipped Euro upside down, it basically almost looks like UJ. So we know by looking at UJ, we got a support there, and we have a resist there. But UJ is a little bit flatter. Candle-wise, it's moving a little bit faster, 3 pip average. Ugh, sorry, yawning again. Once this one's done dicking around, then we'll go into the next little training wheel you're going to get. But since this was forming, I wanted to go over it. It's kind of, doing this live is kind of not hard, but I want to be able to jump around and show you what's going on the chart, because I think looking at it in the past is kind of pointless, but actually seeing the trade happen helps a little more. This has got about 35 seconds left on it. Remember, here's our previous swing low. If it hits it, we should jump out completely. And because we didn't wait for the break above, this was not the smartest trade in the world either. Again, like I said, this would be risky. We didn't know to get in on here because until the close of the candle, we didn't know this was green. So even if we did it on touch, like I had said, it would have been a 2.9 pip move. Kind of crappy. And 3, 2, 1, it should be closed now. Okay, so as we can see, it looks like it's dicking around. We might be forming a range. We don't know what's going on. We shouldn't have gotten into this one because it didn't close above. Let's zoom in a little bit. And let's close it. So it's at our swing low. And my hotkey isn't working, so let's just close it. Okay, so can everyone see why here? And it told us verified resistance. And we wanted this candle to close above, right in, basically we wanted the candle to close into this little red area, and then we would have had a possibility of getting in. Now, as we can see down below, what's happening is it's starting to turn red on us. That means UJ should be starting to turn green on us, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, so our next tool that we use. Let's get rid of the supply and demand. Supply and demand is just basically like support and resist. I think it's called S7. Sorry. Might just load up the template and then I'll remove it. Here, give me a sec. Oh, it's super. Duh. Okay, so our next little tool that we're going to be showing you how to use Now, there's a Barry something out there. I'm not too big of a fan of that one because it slows down the computer a lot. And these dots are kind of small. Let me see if I can make them bigger just for this. Again, I think this clutters up the screen. Let's see if this will do it. Let me make them a little bigger. Okay, so now the supply and demand, or the support and resist one that I showed you two different versions. The second one might be a little bit better for you since it does tell you the information that you should be looking at. Like it tells you support, it'll tell you unverified, verified, and it'll tell you how many times it's been hit if it has been verified. And it's a good reminder for you. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. Well, I can remove it because there's dots there now. Alright, so these are basically a little bit more short-term support and resist. They show swing highs, swing lows. They're fractal based. That means that typically they won't appear till about 3 candles after. But they're going to help you, hopefully, if you're having issues drawing support and resist, then you can look at them and say, well, if I look across here, 2 line up, or here, 2 line up. The one we were looking at, here's this, and here's the close above. So what I mean by that is I could literally just drop a line down in between these two, and it shows me that support and resist that the other one didn't catch. So we saw the close above it, we didn't get in, it dropped, and again, it came back up, but we were waiting for a close above here, because that's where the other candle was. So we'd need a close above here before we got into the trade. Again, remember the other one showed us where we wanted to be with the red line. So it told us, hey, wait till it gets into the red line before you take a buy, and a close into it. Not just a touch, a close into it. Let's delete that. I don't remember why I even had it. Alright, so as we can see, it's poking through the slow. So remember, we were on a downtrend. We had a big pullback, and then it went downtrend nicely again. So we might be moving into a downtrend. We're 10 minutes before the U.S. bell, so that could mean that U.S. kicks in full strength and changes. Just to cover it, we don't trade before the U.S. bell because there may be a change of sentiment. All that means, as it was trending up nicely, as the U.S. kicks into full steam, the U.S. might decide to push it down because that benefits the U.S. currency. Do we have any questions of what is on the top box here? There's 2 lines here with this. This is part of this little indicator. The 2 lines, bid and ask. So it kind of gives you an idea how big the spread is. That's a 1 pip spread. So basically in between these 2 lines, it's about 1 to 1.2 pips. These right here, this tells us which markets are open right now. Helsinki, Frankfurt, London, and New York. And it gives us the times. It's 4:19, 3:19, 2:20 p.m. and 9:20 a.m. That's my time, or that's their time, because it's 9:20 in New York. Yeah, I'm horrible at talking today. Okay, if we don't have questions on what's... Oh, and the daily opens right here, of course. That's a big support and resist for us. Now, you can feel free, since you have trading access, you could throw in pivots on here if you wanted. When I'm scalping, I try not to, because too much for me helps. I'll have a pivot there and I'll be like, I don't want to get in, there's a pivot. I prefer not to know. And I know that sounds weird because with binary options, I'm heavy on indicators. With Forex, I'm lighter on indicators. There's always a reason not to get into a trade, and I don't want to know about it. I try and help to use basically price action with support and resist and the moving averages and our little cheats down here, which we'll get into next if there's no questions. Doesn't look like there are. Okay, so next then, down at the bottom, this is our little cheat, kind of give you a little more confidence to get into a trade. These boxes, it's called BB band stop. It's Bollinger Bands. Now, if you'll notice, a lot of what I have on my binary options charts are on this chart. They're represented differently. Like Bollinger Bands is in trading axis. It's on here, but here it is. It's red and green. So It's there, but it's used in a different way. So as we can see, the Bollinger Bands are starting, the BB stop is starting to turn red. This line is kind of a mix of a bunch of crap. I'm not even going to be into it. It turned white, which means it's giving us a red. So the last thing we need to be concerned with, if this is indeed going to be a downtrend, is the currency strength. Right now it is green, the euro is on top, and the red is the USD. We want that to change to red, and then we could start looking to get into a sell. Let's take a look at UJ, since it's all set up. UJ is completely flat, which would kind of worry me, because they're supposed to mirror each other, where EU is, it looked like it was trending up and it might be dropping. Again, we're right at the bell, so we don't know yet. But UJ is pretty flat, and this is what we don't want to trade in. When we see crap like this, switch to, if you trade binary options, because get into that. It's easy to trade this up and down. But for us, for scalping, this is shit. Putting it nicely. I'll throw the other one on. So this is what this one looks like. Number 1, this is super dem indicators list. Delete. And let's take a look at the other one and see what it tells us. It's going to give you a little more information. And where is it? I gotta find it first. Yeah, I should have probably just left it on. Alright, so let's throw it on. Now, this throws more lines on there, but it's going to tell us. So, here's a resistance. How many retests? 4. So we know that it's banged up 4 times and gotten rejected 4 times. Euro, on the other hand, let's go ahead and throw it on here and see if we can, if it tells us anything. Jesus, I cannot find anything today. So with Euro, it has 1 retest up, retest down, retest down, retest up. But Euro looks better to me, but it's slower moving. It's about, still we're holding it at about 1 minute candle average of about 2 pips. Remember, we're starting to turn down, and currency strengths are weakening. But over here, we're stuck in a range. This nicely identifies the range for you. You can see 4 retests. This says weak support, but for me, if you look at it, we have 1, and then here, it's banging into it. We got the bell in 6 minutes, so hopefully that'll break things up. But as of yet, looks doo-doo. Do we have any questions on the indicators that I've covered so far? Down here, it's telling us sell. UJ is on top currency strength-wise, and the Bollinger Bands are telling us sell too. But what do we look at? Look at the moving averages. The fast is braiding in and out of the slow. The fast is braiding in and out of the slow. Yes, I can talk. And price is also going, when price is bombing through the slow over and over and over, it's also a warning. Remember, if you can stay out of these ranges and you just go with the trend when it's not in a range, by default, you're probably going to make money. Like here was a good one. You might not have known it until here was a breakout. It pulled down and down. Not the best, but at least by this point, you should have been able to figure it out and get in right here. I probably wouldn't have figured this out because I would have seen it and it closed below, so I'd been like, I don't know about this, but then it popped, and by now we had the close higher this candle. I would have been able to figure out I could jump in for this little section here. So I mean, I'm not perfect because, like I said, this whole section here, I would not have known until this candle that, hey, I should probably jump in because this candle closed higher than this and this. So it takes a little bit of time to learn, and it's just practice. But we know now I can easily identify this is shit. If we got into this, we have no opportunity to make money because as soon as it goes up, then it's going to drop back down. And this is what the markets were doing almost all day yesterday. It was a bigger range, but even with a bigger range, I don't like getting into it because you'll see just weird little movements like this up-down crap I can't do for scalping. What's this dot? That was weird. Even if I stretch it out, still not sexy. If we zoom in, you can see it really clear that it's flat. If you have a favorite pair, we can take a look at it. Again, I trade Euro and Euro USD versus USD JPY because when they're mirroring each other, moving opposite of each other, it makes it very easy. So if you're not too sure if this is trending up or if it's trending up and we look at UJ and it's trending down, that's perfect. When they're matching each other, that scares me. Do we have any questions of what I've gone through so far? I'm going to do the Fibonacci prerequisite. Probably do that in the morning, and then we'll jump into Rinko then at that point. I want to make sure it's step by step. Once I'm done with this video, I'm going to go live, and I'll put together the zip pack. The zip file. Fuck me. Jesus. But do we have any questions yet? Let's see, we can just toss some charts on here then. Here's USD CHF. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so up here we got a verified retest. We have a support right here. What am I looking at? Right there. We have green, and USD is pulling above CHF. CHF is in white, so it's going green. Now, it's not the best looking. Here, let me slide this over a little. We'll see. And then we'll talk about it. Okay, there. Now I can close it. Sorry, I'm OCD about shit. Okay, so it closed above, right at our line. It's kind of ambiguous. Now my cat wants in. Jesus. No kitty. As soon as I go to throw something at him. So let's watch this one. Since we were talking about waiting on a close. There's a previous support. Yes, it dipped above. Do we have anything else? Daily high, daily low, anything? Here's the open right here, so we know that's good. Slow just crossed fast. Currency-wise, US is a little bit stronger, and we're green with the Bollinger and our fancy-dancy little line. Got 30 seconds left. We have a little bit of a support right here. It's above it. Our big one's over there. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this one about a 6. We're getting a doji. That's indecision, and another indecision candle. So anyone, would this be a good trade, bad trade? No comments. Let's zoom out one again. So we have plenty of room for it to play in here. We don't have a huge support and resist, but it didn't. This is the same thing as I think it was a Euro trade. It didn't close above where we wanted it, so we'd stay out. What's it possibly going to do? Drop for a pullback and then move up again, but it didn't clear where we wanted. Let's try another pair and see what we can see. Let's try GBP just for the hell of it. After the Brexit vote, who knows what it looks like. So definitive downtrend. This must have been something going on there. How many pips is that? This is why I'm not a fan of GBP right now, because we keep seeing weird shit. It's a 100 pip move in these two candles. So in 10 minutes it moved 100 pips. Shot up and then shot down. But we got retest, retest. This is a weak resistance. When it's purple, it means it's a weak resistance. If we look, what is it telling us? It's looking at this area right here, and it's already highlighted them for me over here. If we are going to take a buy on this, well, we're green. Blue is GBP in this case. It's above. So what would we be waiting for? Our lines are already there. A close above that. Otherwise, it's banging on it. Are we getting the idea? Is anyone got questions? Anything? Let's zoom in a little bit on this one. Since this one's right on the borderline, we'll go ahead and watch it. And let's see, so far we've watched two pairs that haven't breached, and both of them have dropped after that. So this will be our third one we're going to watch with about the same type of pattern. We have this is previous lows turn into a resist. These are the highs hitting into the resist. This is GBP. What's the spread? 1.7. I have not looked at GBP in almost 3 months, really. Oh, my coffee's cold. That was horrible. Get some water. Yeah. Sorry about that. That was just disgusting. So again, Bollinger Band's green. Fancy line, green. Currency strength says it's stronger than US, but we can see that it's stalling out right there. Now, I finally had one question. Why am I showing this instead of Renko? Because you need to be able to use the Renko charts with like the 1 minute charts to identify support and resistance, breaks of new highs and lows. Renko is good at clearing up the noise, but sometimes the noise is helpful, like on previous support and resistance, things like that. And if you rely just on Renko, you'll get in trouble. You'll be wondering, why the hell did that slam down right there? Or why didn't I jump in earlier? Because sometimes with Renko, you can jump in earlier if you're looking. Like, in this case, Renko might not be showing us a buy, but if this closes higher, we can get in it, and then Renko turns into a buy. So it's a combination of both. So we got, 1 minute left on this puppy? Now, this is, I guess, what you'd call ambiguous right now. It's not telling us buy or sell. It's right at where we want to be. So a little bit higher would make us super freaking happy. But we can already see that this is the third push on it in, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. And the last hour, this will be its third try, almost an hour to dot. Remember, US Bell hit 4 minutes ago? So again, there's always the change in sentiment we want to watch for. So I really wouldn't be trading this for about 10, 15 minutes. Because I want to sit and see if the US is going to go apeshit and push it anywhere. Now, it's closing higher. Again, this is a borderline one. So we'll see if it closes up there. If it does, this raises the stakes a little bit on saying that it's a good trade. It's not perfect, but just for example, 3, 2, 1, close it out. And I'm going to take a buy. I think. There we go. So this was barely there. It was a tad over. But let's watch the reaction compared to the other trades. The other trades pretty much immediately dropped. Let's see what this one does. So this one's got a fight on its hands to get up there. Now, some of the things I would say... Let me see something real quick. 3 pip average candle size. So it's going to have to fight to push through here. Since it didn't close above it, now we got a little bit of a... In my opinion, I'd call it a little bit of fight between buys and sells on our hand to see who's win to finish pushing it through. If we zoom out a little bit, this was the close... So it was well into our blue zone here, and it broke these 3 here. So let's give it a watch and see what happens. Now remember, if we look to the left, right about here, it's going to have a little bit of difficulty pushing through this area here. So it's going to hit there and probably slow down, or it's going to go right through. We'll see what happens. But this one finally lined up. It wasn't a perfect trade, but it did line up, and it gave us a better chance of price moving up. So basically my target would be that blue line. because I'm using such a tight stop loss and take profit. I should have turned on live for this. It's GBP. There's no fucking way, actually. And my hotkeys aren't working. I need to go through my hotkeys and fix them because I have everything set up. So if I hit Alt B, it's a buy. Alt S is a sell, and Alt C is a close. But for some reason, they are not working right now. So as we can see, like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a fight candle. Hopefully it pushes up and closes. Now, if it closes above, then I would be a lot more confident that it's going to hit up to somewhere in between the blue and our take profit. Now, what I like to see is these will sometimes just shoot straight up to take profit. I'm going to try my hotkey. I wonder why my hotkeys aren't working. Damn you. Let's go to scripts. Maybe I dig something up. Scripts. Close all hot. C. Yeah, it's still there. It's odd. Okay, I'm going to talk about those. That's what I'll do. I'll do Fibonacci with hotkeys tomorrow, and I'll give you all the hotkeys also. Because for me, I prefer to, like right now I'm sitting here holding down Alt, and I just tap the C key when I want to close the trade. For a buy, I hold down Alt and hit B for a buy, or Alt S for a sell. So we're at 2.3 pips profit, still not anywhere close to our target. Why is that our target? Because of a previous support resist zone. We're right in it right now. 3 pips. Touch that blue line and we'll see if we can close you. See how it hit it and dropped back? I just want to see if my hotkey works actually. Oh, because I think I was hitting Alt. I'm stupid. I think I was hitting Alt V. I'm an idiot. So it looks like it barely touched our target. Almost. So if it pushes up again, we'll see. I want to try my hotkey to make sure it works before I go into live trading. I'm going to try it. Nope. That is so weird. Alt C. So my hotkey's not working and I have no idea why. I'll have to figure that out. It was working just fine yesterday. So it touched our goal and dropped, so we're just going to have to let it ride now. Remember, a close above, but the bulls look like they're pushing it down. We've got 3 seconds left. Okay, now let's see if it runs up or if it drops. But does everyone understand why this wasn't the perfect trade, but it was much better than the previous two that we looked at? This closed above our target resist area. It breached the resist or previous swing highs. So it performed a little bit better. Now what's going to piss you off is sometimes it's going to just shoot up like 10 pips right into it, and then you're going to be like, ah, fuck. After this, I'm going to do my coffee run. Actually, while this trade's running, I'll go ahead and do coffee run. I'm going to go ahead and if it breaches through here, it has plenty of room to hit the 10 pips without anything dicking with it. There's no... The daily is up here. The open line's up here. We're green. Currency looks good. So, yeah, we might have it okay for a 10 pip run. It looks like what I was looking at was this little wiggle of shit right here. But I don't think it's going to hold it from hitting the 10 pips. So we'll remove that. Leave our goal there. If it drops, it drops. But again, this was not a perfect setup, but it was a much better one because of where that candle closed. Alright, so I'm going to go see if I can get... Shit, I might have to make coffee, but it'll just be a minute. At least there's something on here. Here, let me zoom in one. I will be right back. If you have questions, please go ahead and hit them up while I'm gone, and we'll leave that trade running. We're almost to the point where I'm going to be trading live, so I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Didn't get coffee. Oh well. So it looks like it closed. 10.4 pips. Barely. It touched it and dropped. But do we see the difference in that trade? It wasn't a perfect setup, but how it acted compared to the other two. The other two did not close above and they immediately dropped. This one, on the other hand, moved up. Didn't move up pretty, but it moved up. Actually, if we look at the candles, it moved up pretty. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple more. US Euro, AUD, USD. Actually, same thing. Right there was a move up. US CAD. Here's the close, and it moved down. NZD USD. This used to be my favorite pair, but the spread. Close, moved up. Euro GBP, which is usually a flat fucker. Yep. Euro JPY. Euro JPY is a mess. GBP JPY. I know a lot of people like this one. I'm not a big fan of it. Kind of flat. Euro CAD. This is what I was talking about with the big candles. Now this one, so let's take the time to look here. This candle closed below, but what's it hitting? This is a daily low. So this is a pass. We would not jump in on this one. But if we look, here was our close below the range. We could have jumped in here. This for me is kind of risky. I don't like jumping in on these big ass candles because sometimes you'll see a big reversal come off of them. AUD JPY. Okay, so here is a good example of what? This is what I was talking about. Giant wick down. This is why we want the whole story. So if we would have taken a buy here, we would have got our asses handed to us if we had not waited for the candle to close. So do we see why candle close is important? This is exactly what I was looking for. We're also gray at the bottom, so it's in a braiding type situation. We know that neither currency is particularly stronger than the other. But this is a perfect example of what not to get into. If we see this, we don't want to get into it. CAD JPY. Here it was bouncing, it hit, and then up. Not as pretty because we got a doji and then it moved up. GBP CAD. Again, this one is hitting the daily low. This is a pass. If we look here, though, again, we could have gotten in here and down. It wasn't pretty. All these dojis would have scared the shit out of me, but we would have made our profit. AUD, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That would have been a 45-minute trade. That would have been ridiculous. And Euro NZD. This one is a possible right now. If this candle closes, we could do a sell on it. Close lower, close lower. Let's watch the wick. Kind of a big wick. Red there. So what's this? The spread's 3 pips though. There's no way I'd touch this pair. But we could take a sell here. And it's a possibility of a sell. Although the wick kind of worries me because it's almost the size of the bar. Let's watch it real quick. Let me remove so you can see. So we know it's in the middle of this green thing. So this would be, if you're in an airplane, it would be turbulence. So it might not drop perfect here, but we know that we're in a turbulence area. Now looking over here, what do we have right here? We could have gotten in here. It was a green up, then down, down, down. This for me would have been a little bit better. But again, with a 3 pip spread, fuck no. Okay, so let's go back and put Euro on here. Euro broke out of its range. Close, and this would have been right here. Close above. We should have gotten in. You would have gotten in right here and up. So it was already about 8 pips up. Extremely late entry. This one would have stressed me out, although that shows that the bulls buys were in charge, and now it's pushing down. So let's zoom out a little bit and see what's going on. So it has room to run up to about here, and again the little red box is showing us there's something there to look at. So let's draw a little line in there. That's what we're looking at. Again, entry should have been on this candle though, but we were dicking around looking at other stuff. So that would have been our entry candle. And it moved up about 7 pips. And if we look, there is a little bit of resist here, resist here. So if it breaks through where it's at right now, then it'll probably run up. And let's zoom in on it. Now if we look down, we're good, we're good, we're good. Everything says that we can get in that trade, just we're a candle late. Well, two candles late, so we're about 10 minutes late on that one. That would put us pretty close to where I would start trading. The one thing that we are seeing, actually this would have been the daily open. Sorry, I completely missed that it was there because I'm looking at all my other lines. It's being straddled by the bid and ask. We had a barely close above it, so I would have waited on a clear cut above this one because of the daily open. I might have screwed, if we were live, I might have screwed up on that puppy because I might have hit buy if I hadn't noticed the daily open there. So that might have been a fuck up on my part. Let's watch, because it hit the daily. It barely closed above it, so we could see it got pushed down the first time. The second time they tried to push through and it didn't go. So the third one, it might get pushed back down. So we'd be wanting to wait for a close above, not this tiny shit, but a close above the daily open. So I would have completely screwed the pooch there probably if I hadn't noticed the daily open. That puts us right at the bell though, so I actually wouldn't have been trading this. But still, it's bad that I just missed the daily open. Especially when I'm showing y'all. But I mean, we all make mistakes, so it's gonna happen. Let's get rid of this line. Oops, that's not what I was looking for. And let's see. See how it's bombing on us. Daily open rejected. Let's zoom out a little bit and see. So here's the daily open. It has not bust above the daily open. So this is a pretty strong resist up here. So getting into a buy on this one, we definitely want to make sure it's clear. And what kind of room do we have? About 8 pips up room. So it would be a quick in and out trade if we did take it. Which is a possibility. We might be taking this one in a little bit. Alright, so I think that sums it up for today. This is an hour and 15 minutes long, so I know some people aren't going to watch this whole thing. Do we have questions? We know what happens when we don't wait for that break. So this one would be a good setup other than the daily open lines there. And we can see how it's respecting the daily open. And if we look to the left, it's definitely nothing. It's only popped above, then it immediately was pulled back down. Or you can go to hell. Sorry, emails. I'll give it a minute or two for questions while I answer a couple emails. La la la. No questions? So we're about to wrap this then. Give it one more minute for questions and then we are done. Alright. Doesn't look like we got questions. If there are any questions over this video, please ask me. If you have any other questions, ask me. I'm going to put the zip file together and hand that out. Tomorrow we're going to go over Fibonacci and hotkeys and moving around the charts. And then, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? And then Thursday we'll bring Renko into it. I want to go step by step though. And tomorrow's video actually is going to go before this video. So this is going to be part one. There'll be a preface. Basically just setting up the charts and using Fibos, and we'll explain it. I'm going to go a little bit dumb with Fibos, get really into it. So that way it'll be nice and in-depth for y'all, because the one comment I got was I think that I just went too fast and a lot of people didn't understand. So hopefully this clears up what I'm looking for in a trade and what you should be looking for in a trade and makes it a little bit easier. Again, these setups aren't going to work all the time, but we saw 2 out of 3 failed when we didn't wait for the break above. One worked, and this one did have a break above, but it had a daily open, so... And why doesn't my freaking close keys work? I have to figure out why my hotkeys aren't working too. It's kind of pissing me off. Alright, so that's it for today. Tomorrow will be hotkeys, flipping through charts without your mouse, and Fibonacci. We're going to go pretty in-depth into Fibonacci because it is something you'd want to look at. Alright, have a good one.